we're going to talk about the quietest form of police brutality. This is a non-violent form of police brutality, but it's a psychological version or a psychological tactic in the police brutality pipeline. Okay? So here's one thing that I know, right? When you go to black neighborhoods and black communities, more urban black communities, not so much the suburban ones, but the urban ones, the ones that are around the hood, the ghettos and things like that. One thing you see is an active police presence, right? You see an active police presence even when they're not stopping or preventing or correcting anything from any crimes. They're just posted up in areas and they're sitting in their cars a lot of time. And one thing that they do is they have their lights on. Not the flashing lights, but just when the car's sitting there, those blue lights are just on, right? In a lot of states, they have blue lights. I know there's some states in America where they don't use blue lights, but most states in America, they have blue lights on their car, right? And specifically, we want to talk about those blue lights. And I'm going to tell you how those blue lights are a subtle form of police brutality and harassment. Let's get into it, right? The cops are sitting there. They're in these black neighborhoods, and in the faint distance, you can always see some police lights somewhere in a black community, right? Always. If you don't see them, in some cities, they have those little boxes that sit up on telephone poles, right? Those boxes that sit up on telephone poles, it might be some type of audio scanner. I think it's called a transducer, where it can tell where gunshots are coming from. On those devices, they have a blue light on them. Why do they have that blue light? Because it signifies a police presence. A police presence. This device belongs to the police in this city, right? Some places they have cameras on telephone poles in different places. Those cameras also have blue lights attached to them that continuously run at night. Also, if you go into certain parking lots, they have parking lot cameras in the parking lot. Those also have blue lights on them. So what does that mean? Like, why am I saying that here? I just told you it was a subtle form of police brutality, but let's get into the history real quick of why police have blue lights and when they started using blue lights. Let's look at it. Okay, motorbiscuit.com. Blue police lights are increasingly popular. Once upon a time, all police cars in the United States had flashing red lights. In 1948, the rotating red beacon came on the scene and began to replace the flashing lights. But in other parts of the world, police were already experimenting with blue lights. So where did it come from? Okay, legend has it that the blackouts of World War II led to the first blue police lights. Germany found police cars could use blue lights without drawing bombers' attention to their urban areas. World War II, Germany. It's interesting how they left Nazis out of that. They said World War II, they said Germany, but they failed to mention that the idea came from the Nazis. They left that out. It's not just Germany. It's a specific group that was running Germany at that time. Say that. The world got blue lights on police cars from the Nazis. Now let's get back into it. Over the decades, an increasing number of United States police forces began to add blue lights to their cars. They may have reasoned that a combination of red and blue lights made their cars visible during both the day and night. Blue lights are likely more visible at night, and until recently, many departments believed red lights were more visible during the day. According to theofficer.com, a recent study found that blue was the easiest emergency vehicle light color for motorists to notice both during the day and after dark. This may be the reason that an increasing number of police departments are actually phasing out the red lights. So well, emergency police lights were all... Okay, I don't know what they're talking about right there. Okay, so you see that? These lights are tradition because they are so highly visible at nighttime, right? They are so highly visible at night. And this is very true. I don't know what made them ever think that red light was the most visible at day or night. Red light is actually the least visible. If y'all been in the Navy or whatever, At night on the ships, they use red lights in any space that can be viewed from the exterior of a ship. Red lights are what they show, right? The reason is because the wavelength of red light makes it so you can't see it from as far out. You can see blue and green light are the lights that you can see from the furthest away in low visibility situations. Okay. So, that's just the science on that. Blue light you can see from further away than you can see red light. Okay. So the fact that they were talking that red light, okay, whatever. The Nazis gave y'all the game back in World War II. Now, why do I think it's important for us to discuss blue light? Well, let me get into some science real quick here, because we're talking about circadian rhythms, the natural clock of things. Let's get into some science real quick. Okay. Visible light synchronizes the human biological clock in the suprachiasmatic nuclei of the hypothalamus to the solar 24-hour cycle. Short wavelengths perceived as blue color are the strongest synchronizing agent for the circadian system that keeps most biological and physiological rhythms internally synchronized. Circadian rhythm is important for optimum function of organisms, and circadian sleep-wake disruptions or chronic misalignment that may lead to psychiatric and neurodegenerative illnesses. The beneficial effect on circadian synchronization, sleep quality, mood, and cognitive performance depends not only on the light spectral composition, but also on the timing of exposure and its intensity. Exposure to blue light during the day is important to suppress melatonin secretion, the hormone that is produced by the pineal gland and plays a crucial role in circadian rhythm entrainment. While the exposure to blue is important for keeping organisms' well-being, alertness, and cognitive performance during the day, chronic exposure to low-intensity blue light directly before bedtime may have serious implications on sleep quality, circadian phase, and cycle durations. This raises inevitably the need for solutions to improve well-being, alertness, and cognitive performance in today's modern society where exposure to blue light emanating devices is ever increasing. Now, sorry guys. Now, here we go. How does blue light affect sleep? Circadian rhythms are finely tuned 24-hour cycles that help our body know when to carry out essential functions. Light is the most important factor in aligning circadian rhythms, and for much of human history, these rhythms were closely aligned with sunrise and sunset. With the advent of artificial light and electronics, people are being exposed to increasing amounts of light before bedtime. While all types of light can affect circadian rhythm, blue light has the largest impact. We get most of our exposure to blue light from the sun. Blue light stimulates part of the brain that makes us feel alert, elevating our body temperature and heart rate. During the day, blue light can improve performance and attention, tuning our circadian rhythm and setting us up for a better night's sleep after the sunset. Okay. Properly timed exposure to blue light can treat several sleep disorders. Circadian rhythm disorders occurs when a person's circadian rhythms aren't in alignment and with the environment. Light therapy and blue light in particular can help realign the body's rhythms and improve sleep. Okay? Blue light suppresses the body's release of melatonin, a hormone that makes us drowsy. While this may be helpful during the day, it becomes unhelpful at night when we're trying to sleep. Being exposed to blue light in the evening can trick our brain into thinking it's still daytime, disrupting circadian rhythm and leaving us feeling alert instead of tired. What y'all think of that? Listen, some might suggest that this is a reach. I don't think I'm reaching, guys. I don't think I'm reaching at all. I don't, there's a lot more sciencey type of stuff, and I'll just give you a brief breakdown of the thing that's in your body. Right now, there's what is called there's an item in your eyes, right? And it's called melanopsin. Melanopsin is in the eyes and is specifically tuned to be activated by blue light, right? When blue light hits, comes in the eye and activates the melanopsin, it tells your body, wake up. For a million years or millions of years or whatever, this has worked from when the sun came up, the sky got blue, blue light hit the lens, refracted, came to the melanopsin, and it told humans and it told other animals, get up. It's time to get up now. Nowadays, we are constantly being bombarded with blue lights. The most intense of those are not coming from the phone, because we have blue light filters we can put on our phones, right? The most intense of those blue lights that a lot of people in their communities are seeing come from those ridiculously bright LED lights that come flying down your street as they're chasing somebody. Or every time you step into a parking lot when it's dark outside, you see these blue lights bombarding you. Or when you're in your living room winding down for the evening and there's a cop car on your street somewhere with the blue lights on it, you're seeing this. This, to me, is a form of harassment because it's I think they also used to do that in Nazi land where they would just keep it bright all night so people couldn't sleep. That there's a similar thing there. When you have this blue light, first of all, like you heard me read, blue light keeps you up. There's been a study, and I talked about it when I did the audio podcast about this. Anytime, once you see blue light, it can add another 20 minutes to your wake time, right? So the overexposure of blue light will make it hard for you to sleep, right? And in my estimation, over policing in black communities and overexposure to these blue lights everywhere is part of the reason why we have some of these anxieties and we have a harder time sleeping and we get some of the least amount of sleep of all people in this country, right? Let's look at the Sleep Foundation study. Insufficient sleep by race and ethnicity. After adjusting for age, insufficient sleep by race and ethnicity shows a clear differences with 46.3% of Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders, 45.8% of Black people, 40% of American Indians and Natives, 37% Hispanics, and 37% Asian, 34% Hispanic, 33% white report getting less than 7 hours of sleep. Essentially half of the black population in America is getting less than the healthy amount of sleep every night. Half. It's very likely much higher than that, honestly, because this information comes from like surveys and things like that. I'm sure they aren't surveying the people who live in the communities I'm talking about. If they were, I would think that number would be somewhere around 70%, honestly, of people getting less than 7 hours. So when I was growing up, not many people that I know was sleeping that long. 7 hours is like great sleep. You understand what I'm saying? We have to watch out for these little tactics they use. I know some people might say, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with race. They use blue lights because of the visibility at night. Let's be clear. Nobody has ever had a problem seeing red lights in the distance from far away from a police car. Nobody has ever had a problem seeing those police lights at nighttime. Nobody has ever. I've never heard of somebody saying, oh man, that cop car had red lights on it. I didn't even notice it. That has never happened. There was, as far as visibility goes, A police vehicle that is within your eyesight, you can see those red lights flashing. If it's within your line of sight, anywhere within the visible spectrum of your view, you can see those red lights. There was no reason to go blue. The people who manufacture those lights, y'all want me to believe that they don't know they don't know what blue light does to people? They know it makes everybody more alert. They know it induces anxiety from that alertness. And people who have already a preconceived notion of what police are here to do. You think they don't know that? If blue light is already the most visible light at night on the color spectrum, why do they need to be brighter? Why do police lights need to be brighter? They're already using a color that's highly visible at night.